Good afternoon, Chairwoman and members of the committee. My name is Tyler Smith, and I'm here on behalf of Chamber of Progress, a center-left tech industry association that works to ensure that all Americans benefit from technological leaps. Some of our corporate partners include companies such as Meta, Google, and Twitter, yet none of them have a vote or veto on any of our positions. Chamber of Progress strongly supports healthy online communities, which is why we urge you to oppose HB 5973. Which would tie online services' hands in the fight against conspiracy theories, hate speech, harassment, and disinformation. If this bill passes, it would turn the internet into a cesspool of lies and hatred. For example, just a few days ago, we saw in Buffalo, New York, a radicalized terrorist live stream a mass shooting in Buffalo, highlighting the Great Replacement, a white supremacist theory. The shooter had posted several anti-black manifestos online prior to these murders. However, if HB 5973 passes, it would prohibit platforms from censoring these kinds of hate-filled, white nationalistic viewpoints, meaning that platforms would be legally required to keep these hateful content on their services, simply because under this bill, it represents one person's viewpoint. This bill would also effectively block services from taking action to remove unverified content, claims about election, democracy, and public health. This bill will impose a false impartiality standard that would be hobble platforms' constitutional freedom to remove and downrank QAnon conspiracies, election suppression, and vaccine disinformation. HB 5973 would deter social media platforms from protecting children from sexually explicit and other age-appropriate content. Though the bill states that it does not prohibit social media platforms from censoring unlawful expressions, including expressions that unlawfully harasses individuals or unlawfully incites violence, many forms of online harassment and sexually explicit adult content are legal. HB 5973 would prevent Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube from taking action against this content. Finally, HB 5973 is a clear violation of the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. If passed, this bill would eventually be met with legal opposition and struck down under the U.S. Constitution. The government cannot regulate or infringe upon an online platform's freedom of speech and expression. We've seen firsthand the outcome of state governments attempting to limit and control online platforms' content moderation practices. Last year in Florida, federal U.S. District Judge Robert Hinkle blocked a bill similar to HB 5973, stating the legislation complied providers to host speech that violates their standards, speech that otherwise would not host, and forbids providers from speaking as they otherwise would. A challenge to a similar law in Texas is currently pending before the U.S. Supreme Court. No major online platform wants to become a haven for hate or harassment, and their content moderation practices enable them to stay one step ahead of bad actors. They are not perfect, but they want their services to provide a positive environment for most users. We urge you to reject HB 5973 in order to prevent hate, hoax, lies, and inappropriate material from spreading even further on the internet. Thank you, and I open to any questions.
No questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony.